touch the curve valve. The curve valve could be your best friend or your worst fucking enemy, especially on a Friday. We usually stay away from those. So on a job like this, that the main shuttle valve for the domestic cold water coming into the building or into the house is broken, we use the RIDGID pipe freezer machine. It usually freezes the water within 10, 20, 30 minutes, depending on the size of the pipe. This pipe was 1.5 inches, so it probably took a good 15, 20 minutes. It's not a bad machine. It gives you enough time to swap out the main valve, put a new one, and turn it right back on.
This is pipe relining, a modern and unique technique that allows plumbers to easily repair rusted and leaking iron pipes in any building or apartment without any demolition. The process starts with a special tool used to thoroughly clean the rust and dirt accumulated inside the pipe. Then, a thick epoxy resin is prepared and applied to a felt tube made of fiberglass or polyester. Next, a bladder tube is inserted inside this felt tube, and the entire unit is placed into the damaged pipe. A compressor then pumps air into the bladder, causing the felt tube to securely bond to the pipe's inner walls. After about 2 hours, the bladder tube is removed, and the result is a new, strong lining inside the pipe, which is even more durable than PVC.
There was a wall here that we pushed forward, another wall that we actually pushed backward.
I remember.
All the walls in the middle went away, and we even fought for some extra ceiling height. Tommy and the designers decided to grab 3 or 4 extra inches by raising the ceiling and making this structural ceiling the finished look above the 2 islands.
I absolutely loved it until
Right?
I loved it until I had to think about running plumbing.
Whoa.
There's a bathroom right upstairs here and a laundry.
But does this hurt you?
Well, normally the hardest pipe to run is the big pipe from the toilet. So you look right here. Here it is right here. There's a 3-inch PVC pipe. It comes down this way with pitch. There's a perfect joist bay for us right here. Here's our laundry. Here's our lavatory coming in. Now it continues with pitch this way, turns, goes down to the basement. End of story over there.
So if the big hard pipe is in, no problem, we're all set.
Well, every single plumbing fixture has to have a trap on it. Now, normally on a toilet, it's built right into the toilet itself.
Right.
But you've seen traps. You've seen them underneath kitchen sinks, under lavatories, or in our case, under the bathtub.
Yeah, and it basically is just a way to stop sewer gases from coming back into the house, right?
It's a critical part of any plumbing system. Here's a cutaway. You can see the trap right here. The bathtub lets go the water. The weight of the water now pushes down right here, and there's always a water seal. Water pushes down, makes the water lift over this and goes down the drain. But there's always supposed to be a water seal.
And because the water stays right here, those gases can't get back through the water and they can't get into the house.
You know, Kevin, it's not just sewer gas, though. Sewer gas wants to come this way. You also have to worry about insects coming this way or vermin.
Yeah, we don't want those.
Right, and when you see this, you actually understand the full plumbing system. Here's the trap, here's the drain, and here's the vent right here. Now, when you have water running this way, like a bathtub letting go, you need a place for air to come back in, and that's where the vent is critically important.
Okay. But we've seen these traps underneath bathtubs before, and I mean, correct me if I'm wrong, you just put them underneath the bathtub, so it would go below the second floor right there. You'd tuck it nicely into the joist bay, and it fits.
And that would be perfect if we actually had the bathtub in the bedroom.
Oh, wait, so where's the
The bathroom's over here. So here's where it lines up for where the trap is.
Yeah, we definitely can't cut there.
Correct. So what we have to do is find a way to get the drain from the bottom of the tub over across the top of this triplet without drilling it out.
You can't move the bathtub?
No, you don't want to make the bedroom small, you don't want to make the bathroom smaller. So what we'll do is come across the top, we'll get the trap right in this bay right here, and we'll run back with pitch this way.
Huh, how are we going to do that?
Let me show you. So up over the garage and kitchen, we have the 2 new bedrooms right here. We got a laundry, and here's a full bathroom with an extra lavatory right out here. There's the toilet's going to be right here. You saw that roughed in. Here's the lavatory. And here's where our tub location is. You can really see firsthand. This is the back side of that beautiful ceiling that you guys
So
put in.
drain on this side, and that's what we can't cut through.
Correct. So now you can really see firsthand the issue. Here's the standard cast iron bathtub right here. And this is the bath waste and overflow, a standard component on any bathtub, and by code you have to have it. It has a drain. It has the overflow right here. If you look inside, water goes down right here, but this is a very important safety feature called the overflow. If you ever were filling the tub, you didn't pay attention, you would not want the water to go up over the edge, it would go down through the overflow. And as importantly, if you would fill it up to this point and then get in, you don't want that water that you displace to also go over the edge. So the overflow is here. It typically comes down right here, down through the trap as we see it all the time.
But this is way too low for us.
That's right. So historically, our only alternative was this. This is a side outlet bath waste and overflow. So look at this. See the difference? Instead of coming down through the bottom, it now comes off to the side where you can go any way you want to go with it that way.
So that finished ceiling would be under it. We wouldn't have to cut through it.
That's right. So any of these bathways and overflows need to have 3 components. One is the drain or the shoe. The other is the overflow, and then the other is some sort of actuator to make the drain work.
And those two are connected.
Right. And this for years was our only alternative. But Kevin Byler, our plumbing contractor, actually has found an alternative.
Hey, Kevin, so you brought us a better mousetrap?
I believe I got a fix to the problem. Right out of the box, we have the drain, the overflow, and an actuator. Everything we'll need.
And so, how is this going together?
Well, it allows me to take 1.5" PVC fittings and just glue them in any direction, making offsets to get to my T, to get to my trap.
No way. So you can really go left or right, up or down, 6 inches, 8 inches, whatever you want.
Wherever I gotta go.
And if I understand this correctly, sort of in relation to the standby here, we've got the 2 drains, so these 2 are equal, and then we've got the overflow, these 2 are equal.
Correct. And instead of actuating with the chain, we're going to use the cable for a pop-up.
That is pretty clever. So this is what we're installing.
That's the one.
We start by installing the shoe using some putty and a special wrench provided by the manufacturer. We repeat the process on the overflow using the same wrench. All right, so now you can see we're dry fit. You can see our shoe and our overflow right here.
Right.
And what we've been able to accomplish is to move this trap over from the center to what is our joist bay downstairs and get across that triplet.
And we could have made this assembly anything we needed,
That's
and
right.
now it's in exactly the right spot.
That's right. But
Beautiful.
there's one more measurement to take, and look at this. See at the bottom of that shoe, it comes down about 2.5 inches. So look at this. Here's our subfloor. Here's the top of our ceiling right here. And that's about 1.5 inches.
So this ceiling is still fighting us.
Absolutely. So we raised the floor to get us up to about 2.5 inches, and that accepts the shoe. But look at this. We're going to have to notch this subfloor right here across the tripler, go down to get our trap in this joist bay. Let me get clear.
Look at that, huh?
Perfect. All right, from where that trap first wanted to be right here to where it ended up is what, about 8 inches?
Not very far.
A little bit of work to get it here, though.
Yep.
It'll now sit up in that joist bay perfectly, doing its job for the next 100 years.
A lot of work, but you saved Tommy's ceiling and you got the trap you needed.
I hope he says thank you.
This toilet's running badly, so we're going to replace the fill valve, flapper, and supply line. And I'm going to show you how to do it while we're at it. I'm going to start by showing you the components real quick. So here we have a 2-inch flapper that's stuck open and causing the toilet to run. There's the fill valve, and then here is the overflow tube and the refill tube. It's just so you know what everything is as we sit here and talk. And here I'm showing you the water level and about where it should be. So first thing you want to do is turn off the water. This angle stop didn't work, but we'll just pretend that it did. After that, you want to remove the old flapper, and then you want to disconnect the supply line from the toilet. Just be careful with the residual water, like with a towel or a bucket. Then remove the supply line from the angle stop valve, and then you're ready to adjust your fill valve. As you can see here, you can move up that ring and adjust the height of the fill valve. I recommend adjusting it before installing it, and also make sure to put on the bottom rubber gasket and the refill tube. Next, you want to just loosen the old fill valve nut just a little bit, and make sure you have the new fill valve close by and ready to go. Then you're going to remove the old fill valve and put the new one in. Now you're going to see that we do it by holding our hand underneath to keep the water from going out, so we're able to do it with water in the tank. If you don't feel comfortable doing it this way, then I recommend sucking all the water out with a shop vac or a towel or something. But go ahead and snug the nut for the fill valve by hand and then connect the refill tube to the overflow tube as you see here. Use your fingers or a small rag to clean off the seat here where the flapper sits, and then you can go ahead and put the flapper on. I recommend those Corky Ultra flappers. It's total coincidence that they're called Ultra. Carefully place the two sides of the flapper onto the posts as you see there, and then connect the chain in a way where it's almost as tight as it can be, but with just a little bit of slack in it. And you don't have to take this little clip off the flapper chain entirely. You can just kind of double it over on itself as you see us doing here and get it shorter if you need to. Then you're going to go ahead and connect it to the handle like this and just kind of make sure it's on there right, as you can see us doing here. And then just as you can see, it has just the slightest little bit of slack in it. You know, you hit the handle like a 1/4 of an inch up and it gets taut. That's exactly where you want it. Once you get the flapper chain adjusted to where you want it, then you can move on to the fill valve. Finish tightening the nut for the fill valve if you haven't already done so, and then go ahead and connect the new supply line to the fill valve first, and then connect the supply line to the angle stop second. Be careful when you're tightening it to the supply line that you don't snap that pipe coming from the wall. At that point, you can go ahead and turn the water on and then check out your work and see how it went. Go ahead and fill it up, make sure the water level's where it needs to be. If you need to adjust anything at this time, it would be the time to do it. As you can see, that knob there that we just turned actually lets you do minor adjustments to the water level height once the fill valve's in. But at this point, you're more or less done, and as long as your water level's sitting right about there, you're good. But please like and subscribe, and we really appreciate it. Hope you have a good one.
Say you've got a shower like this, and you want a big head like this, yeah? You don't need to do anything crazy. You see here, here's a tap, just a standard tap that normally this hose connects to it, right? But what we've done, we've bought this, it's like a diverter kit, which is off Amazon, yeah? No, Amazon, Toolstation, Screwfix, you can get this. And all you literally do is connect this hose here, which has got a little rubber washer in it, take that off, put that on there, put a screw in there, put another screw in there, and now you get water coming out this big head here. Let me show you. So if I pull this up, you've got water coming out of the tap, right? And then if I pull this down, that's a proper shower there. And then if I just push this in, you can see the water coming out of there. So this is just for anybody who wants a second, you know, just someone, a big Amazon shower, and you've got this type of shower here, or if you've already got something like this, all you've got to do is buy something like this. You can't really fit them on electric showers because you ain't going to get the same type of pressure that you're going to get. It's mainly for mixer showers which work off a combi boiler, or, you know, if it's got a pump or anything next to it.